Migration activities are based on many reasons. Many people migrate are based on the desire to get a better life in another country. However, in reality, the realization of the desire to get a better life in another country is a challenging thing to do. On this occasion, we will discuss the situation of migrant workers in South Korea. At the end of 1980, Korea experienced a surge in the number of migrants who began to fill the country. Globalization, South Korea inevitably has to accept migrant workers in their country to benefit the country's progress and advance its economy. The presence of migrant workers in South Korea allegedly went through many obstacles in finding work and also upholding workers' rights and the right to live properly. Like citizens in general, migrant workers also have the right of life opportunities and other social life rights. Matters relating to welfare and migrant work life are also included in this matter. It is known that South Korea experienced a conflict in the 1970s regarding the small and medium-sized enterprise sector. The presence of migrant workers from then on was touted as South Korea's savior from the conflict. At that time, workers in the sector experienced difficulties such as low wages, poor management, lack of citizen interest in certain jobs, and other problems. Migrant workers are starting to fill vacancies that South Korean citizens do not want to fill. However, in fact, many say that migrant workers experience similar problems to South Korean citizens after working in South Korea in certain sectors. This raises many questions related to how the South Korean government provides treatment to migrant workers in South Korea and how the welfare of migrant workers in South Korea.
Neoclassical economy argued that labor migration is motivated by the wages in the country of origin, where migrants expect wages which tend to be higher in the destination country. Migrants migrate to where they expect to be more profitable, which this theory sees that labor migration is a rational choice chosen by the migrants itself based on the calculation and benefits to be obtained. The circumstance of the country of origin, which may be full of poverty, high employment rates, and lack of employment opportunities, are the driving factors for labor migration. This is supported again by the pull factors that exist in the destination countries, such as supportive environment, employment opportunities, and the amount of wages to be earned. However, this theory also emphasized that the government policy are also influential in regulating the amount of wages earned by the migrants. So it is not uncommon for gaps to occur between local residents and migrants in the country. This theory is also in line with what happened in South Korea, where the wage gap for migrants and local residents tends to be different. Discrimination that occurs can also be influenced by how the government handle it, whether it's serious or trivial. In South Korea, there is a policy called work permit system. The work permit system allows companies that fail to hire locals to legally hire a sufficient number of foreign workers, and it's the system used by the government to manage foreign workers in South Korea in an organized manner. Under the foreign work permit, foreign workers are allowed to work only in a few industries, namely manufacturing, construction, agriculture, animal husbandry, fishing, and services. Migrant workers need to be employed in workplaces that are licensed to employ the migrant workers. They are not allowed to change workplaces. However, in cases where the normal employment relationship is difficult to maintain due to reasons such as temporary or permanent cessation of business, or cancellation of the license to employ migrant worker, or the restrictions on the employment of migrant workers, migrant workers may be employed in other workplaces. The size of foreign labor, occupational group, and nationality are determined by the Migrant Worker Policy Committee.
Under the Employment Permit System, or EPS, migrant workers are treated the same as local workers, and all forms of discrimination are prohibited. The EPS has proven to be a much more effective tool to solve migrant workers' problem. The number of undocumented workers shows a downward trend, and there are fewer problems of labor exploitation. Although various issues and problems still exist, what is more important is that the number are decreasing. Workers who choose to work illegally have no legal rights and are therefore not protected by the law. These problems have increased labor exploitation and human rights violation. There is also discrimination, such as low-skilled foreign workers being discriminated against and disliked by the local community. For many employers, immigrant workers are seen as a cheap and easy exploitable source of labor, and they are hired to work in industries where the local people don't want to do so. Koreans, since establishing the government in 1948, had little to no exposure to foreign cultures until they hosted the 1986 Asian Games and the 1988 Olympics. With the growth of immigrant and multiracial population came certain terms used to distinguish Koreans from non-Koreans. The term damunhwa or multicultural became a commonly used word to refer to multicultural backgrounds, including non-Korean immigrants and mixed-race Koreans. Foreign workers are often discriminated against not only by the employers but also by the local community.
Even though they have their own policies, many migrants still feel wage discrimination and being underestimated. In addition, many migrant workers in South Korea do not receive wage that should be given by their employers. In some cases, migrant workers may remain unpaid for months. This is one of the most common causes cited by migrant workers when changing jobs. Even though this action can be categorized as against the policy because they are only allowed to work according to their license, but circumstances force them because they need wage to support their life. The involvement of the government as an authority in overcoming this unfair treatment must be immediately increased and taken seriously. Even if necessary, the involvement of international organizations must be carried out immediately, such as when Amnesty International began urging the South Korean government to ratify International Labour Organization Convention number 29 concerning forced or compulsory labor and the UN Trafficking Protocol. With the initial goal of advancing and improving the country's economy, South Korea certainly opens up opportunities for foreigners who are willing to become migrant workers. However, as time goes by, conflict continues to befall. Migrant workers in South Korea with various problems that always arise do not escape the injustice of wage, racism, and limited employment or management opportunities. All of these conflicts have sparked questions from the public regarding how the government treats migrant workers. Even though they already have rights set out in government policies, therefore, as we explained earlier, we choose neoclassical theory because it is in line with current events, especially the gap in the wage of local people and immigrants who are differentiated. Government commitments as authorities to end this injustice must be strengthened and taken seriously immediately.